Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome you to the regular meeting of the Milwaukie Planning Commission. Agendas and additional copies of staff reports are available on the table in the hall. If you have not picked up an agenda, please do so. It contains important information about the process. If you wish to be included in the mailing list for a decision, please add your name and contact information to the sign-up list located on the table in the hallway. If you wish to testify, please fill out a yellow comment card. We'll follow the basic format listed on the back of the agenda. It includes all hearing procedure steps. We may vary from the process based on the specific circumstances of each hearing. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the November 28th, 2017 meeting. Does anyone have any corrections to make?
No.
I will entertain a motion to approve the notes as presented.
Motion to approve minutes as noted.
I'll second that.
So moved by Commissioner Jones and seconded by Vice Chair Argo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, it carries. Informational items.
Earlier, I guess it was last week, we heard that the applicant for the Rusk Road plan development has withdrawn the application. So this was before the midway at the council level. Council was expecting a revised application to be submitted, and the applicant has chosen to withdraw. Let's see, the other things that are going on. Next Wednesday is the second Comp Plan Advisory Committee meeting. Materials went out yesterday, I think, for everyone, and I think Planning Commission may have also gotten a notice of that from David, I think. And then on the 6th of February, the council will have will open its hearing on the North Milwaukie Industrial Area Plan. So those are my announcements.
Thank you.
Audience participation. This is an opportunity to comment on items not on tonight's agenda. If you wish to comment on an item that is on the agenda, there will be a time for comments after the presentation. Does anyone wish to comment on an item that is not on tonight's agenda? Okay, so we're going to get into the public hearing, and I am going to excuse myself from participating in this, as I am a proud board member of the Milwaukie Historical Society, and we did put in an opinion on the matter that it is at hand. So I will excuse myself, and I will have Vice Chair Argo open up the meeting.
Okay. The public hearing on file HR 2017-002, Milwaukie High School Historic Resource Deletion is called to order. The purpose of this hearing is to consider the application number, HR 2017-002. The purpose of the application is to request a type 3 approval. Is that right?
Yeah. No, type 4. Oh, type 4.
It's a type 4?
Yeah. Greg asked me a minute ago, and I said type 3, but...
Thank you. On property located at 11300 Southeast 23rd Avenue, also addressed as 11200 Southeast 23rd Avenue and 2301 Southeast Willard Street. The applicant has the burden of proving that the application is consistent with City of Milwaukee zoning and subdivision ordinance, comprehensive plan, and any applicable municipal code provision. The applicant has the burden of proving that the proposal conforms with all of the city's applicable criteria. I now ask staff to cite zoning ordinance sections where the criteria can be found.
Thank you. The applicable criteria are from Section 19.1007, Type 4 Review, Section 19.403, Historic Preservation Overlay, and Section 19.902, Amendments to Maps and Ordinances.
Thanks. All testimony and evidence must be directed toward the applicable substantive criteria. And if you are here to testify, remember to confine your remarks to the application and the relevant criteria and to avoid repetition and irrelevant information. And as a friendly reminder, and I know that Brett will remind us of the scope of what we will be deliberating on this evening, it is for the historic resource deletion only. There are other issues on this site that will be taken up as cases in March to be determined which meetings. Does any member of the Planning Commission wish to declare an actual or potential conflict of interest?
No.
No.
No. Does any member of the Planning Commission wish to abstain?
No.
No. Does any member of the Planning Commission wish to report on any ex parte contacts?
No.
No. Does anyone have any rebuttal to the ex parte contacts declared by commissioners? Okay. Let's proceed to staff report and presentation.
Okay, good evening, Vice Chair and Commissioners. Brett Kelver, Associate Planner with the City, Milwaukie. I'm going to walk us through this application. So, as Vice Chair Argo noted, tonight we're considering one particular aspect of the larger project that's going to be happening over the next couple of years, actually in physical reality at the high school site. Tonight we're just considering the historic designation as a significant property. Later this year, I think probably sometime in March, we'll be considering the community service use aspect, which really is going to address the entire project, the rest of it, the changes that will happen to the campus, the temporary arrangements that will be made. But for tonight, we're just focusing on the historic deletion part. And as noted, this is a type 4 process. So your role in this is in a recommendation capacity. The City Council will consider the request as well. I think we've got that tentatively scheduled for February 20th for them. So, so here we are. So the high school site, we're talking about one particular building, the main classroom building, which is built in 1925 on the site. And just for a view of the campus overall, it's a fairly large property, includes the track, athletic fields, gymnasium, a fine arts building, the classroom building, tennis courts, parking areas. But the historic designation, which was generated along with a lot of our other historic property reviews in the late 80s, focuses on the classroom building itself. And as I think the applicant team can give you a much more extensive, interesting and detailed review of some of the changes that have happened to the high school building over time and some of the significant features for it. But suffice to say that it is on our list of historic resources. It's classified as a significant historic resource. That's of the two levels that we have, significant and contributing. Significant is the higher. So it is on that list. This is the list from the appendix of the comprehensive plan. It's also shown on the historic resources map in the comprehensive plan as one of those historic properties. And it's also got the historic preservation overlay designation on our zoning map. And that's why the application package includes the kind of the lead historic review piece, as well as the needed amendments to both the zoning map, and we're calling it a comprehensive plan map amendment. It's not really changing the text of the comprehensive plan, it'll just remove it from the text of that particular list. And again, as I mentioned, this is the replacement, the demolition and replacement of the high school classroom building as one part of the larger project that's going to be touching many areas of the high school site. And as I'll explain, this is kind of an important first step, is addressing the historic piece of it. So just again to note, the area in in blue here is kind of the footprint of the proposed new building, and you can see underneath it a little bit the outline of the existing building. It's largely going to be a similar footprint replacement, and again, the applicant can explain a little bit more if you're curious, or as much as it's relevant, kind of how that will all work. But it's kind of a key part of the whole project. There are two aspects of removing a historic resource. I mean, the physical part, the demolition part, is addressed in that section of code, 19.403, where if a person wanted to simply demolish a historic structure, the process that's afforded is a Type 3 process. It basically comes to the Planning Commission, and essentially it provides an opportunity for slowing things down a little bit, looking to see if anyone might want to pull together a plan to, in some cases, purchase the property, or to purchase the structure and move it to another site. So the way the code is set up there, the applicant would request a demolition permit. Notice of that would trigger a Planning Commission review, and then the Planning Commission would be in a position to determine whether, based on testimony, probably particularly, whether there was a significant effort that could be made and some reason to delay the demolition process. And part of the application for demolition would involve listing the property for sale, and we've had this done at least one time that I was involved with the Ardenwald Elementary School. Again, a large institutional building. The district was not interested in selling the property, so the sale listing was for the building. If you wanted to buy the building and somehow move it somewhere else, that was an option, and that's basically what for a couple months the district did with this site. In this case, obviously, that building is hard to move, and the high school site needs to stay where it is. So it's kind of a similar setup, which is why, in effect, the staff recommended to the applicant that we consider pursuing the other avenue. What would happen if I did propose demolition of my historic property and got approval for it, it would remain on the zoning map and the comprehensive plan map and list. And either the city would need to initiate the process to remove it from those documents, or the city might compel me as the owner to do that. And what we thought might save a little bit of time would be, in this case, to simply have the applicant go through the process of deleting the high school from the historic list. The process is similar, if not a little more expansive, in the sense that it comes before the Planning Commission. It additionally goes on to the City Council. So in terms of public hearing opportunities, there's as much or more opportunity for that. And that would, by removing it from the list, it prevents the need for the additional time and process that would be involved with going through the demolition review. So there's really no argument on the part of anyone that the high school building is a historic resource. And I think, as the applicant can explain a little bit more, they certainly have taken a look at options for retrofitting or finding ways to maintain the existing building, and have simply concluded that it's just not feasible to do that. So thus the proposal to simply remove it from the list, allowing them to proceed in a timely fashion with the demolition. And again, they can explain a little bit more about that timeline in terms of the things they'll need to try to do to make things work smoothly, so they can get students in some temporary facilities there. So with all that in mind, noting that we did take the issue to the Design and Landmarks Committee, there are some things about our historic preservation code that we would like to change, I guess. There's some things that seem like they would be logical parts of the process that aren't listed there, and one of them would be, if you have a Design and Landmarks Committee, it seems like when someone requests a deletion of a historic property from the list, you would get some feedback from the DLC. It's not clearly explained in the code, but we opted to have the applicant take it to them, and the DLC did review the application and provided some comments and recommendations. As Chair Hamer noted, the Historical Society also did weigh in with some comments that I think were in your packet. as well as the Historic Milwaukie Neighborhood District Association provided comments. All of them were fairly similar in the sense that, there was some recognition that's sad to be losing the building, and suggestion that there be some local involvement in the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO, process to kind of document the historic aspects of the building, and to incorporate or repurpose elements or materials from the site in the new building where possible. And so those, as much as they can be conditions, those recommendations have been incorporated into the proposed decision. So with that, I think the simple suggestion to you tonight, the staff recommendation, is to recommend approval of the deletion to City Council with the recommended conditions of approval. And with that, I'll ask if you have any questions, noting that the applicant, I think, they'll make a presentation as well and can explain a little bit more.
Thanks, Brett.
Any other questions for Brett?
Actually, I have a question. So the process is that SHPO gets involved after this is approved. It's not, in terms of the finalizing the SHPO memo of agreement, that happens later?
Yes and no. And I think the applicant team may be able to explain that a little bit better as well. As I understand it, so the building is on our local list of historic resources, but it's not on a national historic register of properties. But because it's a public building, I believe, and because it's over 50 years old, it automatically requires review and some process by SHPO. And so that work has already started. That's part of the applicant included some of that information in their submittal materials, where they've engaged a qualified architect to start that assessment process and inventorying the building, kind of relating its history. And I believe that part of the conclusion of the process is this memorandum of agreement, where there's some arrangement made for cataloging or commemorating the building in some ways. And that piece, I think, won't be finished until after, hopefully after we're finished with our part of it. So they're kind of running concurrently, and they're a little bit on their own tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we received any correspondence on this matter other than the items in the meeting packet?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, well, I believe now is time for testimony. I have 3 cards in support. What's applicant? So I'm going to have Mr. Jacoby speak first with a chance to present on the project.
That's
Is that right?
me. Actually, Andrew Toll.
Andrew Toll will be first. Okay.
If that's all right, yeah. My name is Andrew Tull. I work with
sure.
3J Consulting. We're representing the North Clackamas School District in this application, and we are very much appreciative of your time tonight. Thank you very much for meeting with us.
Can you give your address for the record?
I will. My address is 5075 Southwest Griffith Drive in Beaverton, Oregon.
Thank you.
97005. I'd also like to take just a moment to thank staff for their help in preparing this application. This is a complex site, a lot of issues, and I think we're going to be seeing each other quite a bit over the next couple of months with different applications that are before you for this site, as well as some of the other district properties that are undergoing bond improvements. So here with me tonight as part of our team is David Hobbs from the North Clackamas School District. To my left, to your right, is Matt Jacoby with Brick Architects. He is the architect of record on this project, also managing the project for Brick Architects. And in the audience is Kristen Miner with Peter Meyer Architects. I can't quite say that J that way, but Kristen is going to be available. She is our historical consultant on this project, and if we have questions of her, we can certainly bring her up as needed. So I'll give just a brief overview of the application process that we've gone through and the steps that we've gone through to bring this project to you at this point. I think Brett did a great job of sort of explaining the overall process and why we've chosen the pathway that we did, but we do have an application before you for historic resource review to delete the high school building from the city's comprehensive plan and zoning maps. listed as a significant property within the city. There is not a lot of applicable approval criteria for the removal of a historic resource from the city's inventory. There is some applicable criteria for amending the comp plan and amending the zoning map. That we have certainly tried to do a good job of addressing, and I think we've done a great job bringing it to this point. But because the deletion and the demolition applications are so similar, our process for preparing this application very closely mirrored the demolition process, in that we very early on met with stakeholders to talk about options for the school, whether it could be retained, whether it could be retrofitted, and Matt's going to talk a little bit more about that when it's his turn. We held a series of neighborhood meetings and invited the public to come in and share their thoughts on this. We explored multiple alternatives to demolition, and ultimately, what sounds like a bit of a senior prank the high school kids might pull is we listed the building for sale. Unfortunately, we didn't have anyone contact us with any interest in taking the building, not even as a joke. It's a big building. As was mentioned earlier, SHPO does get involved. ORS 358-653 entitles SHPO to consult on public buildings that are older than 50 years in order to avoid inadvertent impacts to historic properties. SHPO gets to determine whether the buildings are actually historic. If a proposed project will have a negative impact on a building, the impacts can be or must be mitigated depending upon the level of the impacts. Oftentimes, mitigation involves consultation with stakeholders, public education, documentation of the historic structure itself, and there are several other mitigating measures that can be brought into place. The district, under Kristen's guidance, has been in contact for several months with SHPO. In May, a great deal of initial research conducted by her office was submitted to SHPO, including a campus-wide assessment of the historic integrity of the building. In November, Peter Meyer prepared a finding of effect outlining the impact of the proposal on the historic building on campus. The primary finding was that the construction of the new school would definitely have an adverse effect because it would result in the demolition of the building. So Peter Meyer and the district are currently in the process of working towards a memorandum of agreement with SHPO, and at this point, we don't have all of SHPO's guidance on this yet, but we believe that the mitigation that's likely going to be involved here will include state-level documentation of the exterior and interior with digital photography. The physical history and interpretation will have to be memorialized, including displays and information available about the building on campus. Digital research and interpretation, including historic background and research materials, will need to be placed online, so anyone who's doing research on this will have access to the findings of this analysis. And we believe that the salvage of artifacts and potential repurposing of parts of the old building are going to need to be incorporated into the new building. That's sort of where we sit with SHPO. As Brett mentioned, we also visited with the Design and Landmarks Committee, and they had three very useful, I think, and very practical conditions of approval that they suggested the city's planning commission evaluate and then potentially recommend on to the city council. Those three are within your packet under attachment 2, and I will close my part of the presentation by saying that the district has reviewed these. We're willing to accept all three conditions should you decide to recommend them onto the city council. And I'll now let Matt give just a brief overview of what's going on within the building as we move forward into the new design.
Thank you. Should we save questions till after Matt? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Just state your name and address for the record.
Matt Jacoby, project architect with Brick Architecture. Need my address?
Yeah.
1233 Northwest Northrop, Suite 100, Portland, Oregon 97209. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you guys for your time tonight. So very exciting project. I want to reiterate briefly that as the architects, we did study the existing building, how to save parts of it, how to save a facade, how to save maybe the 1925 part, but not the wings that were actually added in the 30s and 40s as part of that kind of original structure. The challenge is it doesn't meet current seismic codes, so we would spend so many millions of dollars to try to upgrade it. Very challenging, as well as the floor-to-floor heights sites are shallow, and trying to align that with a new building with all the systems, it just really didn't work. We tried how to skin the cat, how to potentially save a wing and build a new school next to it. Just really didn't work. So, and we as architects love to save old buildings as well, but this one we feel like it's lived its useful life, and now Milwaukie and the school district and the city is ready for a new building to lead into the future for the next 100 years. So that's where we've landed. And what you're seeing here really quick is just an overview of the existing, to the north is the gym and the commons, to the left there is performing arts, and you see the kind of the edge of the track, and then you're seeing the L shape of the new building, which is similar to the footprint where the old building is. The other challenge to the site is that it's bordered by, residential and businesses, and it's almost like an urban site is what we're calling it. So you can't build the school somewhere else and leave the old one. We have to build it almost in the same location. So this is a concept study that we did to say, how can we incorporate some of the features of the site and the old building into the new? And those red items are things, just ideas like history walls, graphics, timelines, display cases, different things that we want to incorporate. And I can show you some other slides that actually show what those look like. Some other ideas are just, there's an old monument sign outside that might stay. We might move it somewhere in the new landscape. One of the giant cedar trees is going to be removed. So how can we memorialize that tree? Still working on that. We'd love to use some of that wood from the tree in the building. There's original wood columns you'll see a photo of that exist in the old cafeteria in the lower level of the building. We're actually going to reuse those in some creative ways in the new building, and also maybe use some wood to make some benches and other ideas. So any questions? Should we keep moving? Okay. There's lots here, but we're going, we can go kind of quick. So next slide. So this building, interesting enough, it's like, we say it's like having a house for 100 years that you remodel, and then you go back and you remodel again, and then you're remodeling what you've already remodeled. And we have walked this building many times, even with Kristen. Someone from SHPO actually came and walked the building last spring, early summer. There's not much of the original left. And so there are a few pieces, but not much. It's literally been so overlaid and remodeled. There's some original wood trim, but not very much. The original, which we thought the 1925 sign on the outside, the principal said, oh, that's not the original, it's just been replaced. So not much. What you're looking at is the south facade, which is probably in the entire building. That entry, which some people think is the main entry, it's actually not. It's on the south side. The original entry facing west has been completely renovated. This one's probably the most untouched, even though the windows have been replaced. It's been painted. There's different things that have been remodeled. But the photo to the right is those are the original woodwork. The doors have been replaced, so those aren't original doors or hardware, but that wood trim is original. So we have an idea to possibly save that and kind of extract that piece out and actually reinstall it inside the building. And you're seeing the original 1925 elevations down below, which we might incorporate some drawings into a display case. So here's our idea. So that's that existing wood frame, not the doors, that we would save and protect. And then as the project's done, this is kind of the south vestibule where kind of a student entry. So we might actually reinstall it against the wall and then maybe put images or drawings or use it as, shadow boxes, displays. I mean, out of all the parts in the building in terms of woodwork, this is probably the best piece. So I think it can turn out really nice. It's actually, it would look like an entry. You might not walk through it, but it would frame kind of an entry and it'd be part of almost a display. So that's an idea that we think we can pull off pretty effectively. Picture to the right, those are the original wood columns we talked about. So you're seeing what's now is a whole bunch of classrooms, but it was the original cafeteria. So those columns have been painted over and over and over. Some of them have been signed by students. They have big chunks out of them, so there's lots of age and patina to them. Our idea is actually to save some of those, not maybe every single one, and then an idea is kind of maybe these upper photos is actually cutting them in cross sections and then installing them in the community room, which is going to be on the main level, one of the most probably well-used rooms in the building that will be open for a meeting place, gathering place for the community and for the school. And so we'd love to kind of salvage or memorialize, and you'd actually see the growth rings of those columns, which would have been, old growth. The trees might have been 100 years old when the building was first built. So probably 200-year-old trees potentially. So we think we can, again, incorporate those in a really effective and cool way, very unique way. This is an image of the main lobby of the new building. If you were to go through where those people are, you'd be walking into the existing commons, so the two buildings are going to connect. An idea we have is this is kind of a past, present, future wall that we call, where it wouldn't just have old photos, but it would have new photos and current photos, and maybe leave some blanks to add future things that could be added to it. We just think it would be a real celebration. It's almost like a yearbook wall where you'd see cool things from the Mustangs and old yearbook photos, and yet it could have photos from, athletes or different events that happened just recently. So that's an idea we have, and it could be actually changeable. And it would be one of the first things you'd see in this 3-story wall when you walk in the new building. Then I'll go back for a second. If you were to go up these stairs, there's kind of a multi-level, there's a grade change. So you come in lower lobby, main lobby, and then upper lobby to the right as you come up those stairs. So again, kind of right in the heart of the building we'd like to do. And there's stairs that connect the different floors. The community room is off to the right there where we would do the wood wall. What we'd like to do is do a display case right there kind of in the center of the building where a lot of the main circulation is a display case that would honor the old building, and this next image shows it a little closer. Again, this is just an idea, but in a place to have old photos. They have 2 photos of when John F. Kennedy came before he was president as a senator. He visited the campus. Some great old photos of him being there, as well as there was the fire of when the 1960s, I think, when the gym roof burned down. There's great photos. Original building plans, and we would try to extract a few little artifacts as well. Again, there's not that many, but there could be some artifacts so that the display case would actually have some depth to it, so you could have photos and some depth to put artifacts. So we think, again, this is a super prominent location. I think it could be done very tastefully, great signage, very simple. A great way to honor the old building. And then these last 2 are images of the new building. The Commons, built in the 90s, is over there to the far left, and then the new entry is right next to the Commons. And again, this is schematic. The building is going to look a little different than this, but it's starting to show you kind of the image of a very modern building. But we feel it's going to be very effective. We did take some of the proportions of the old building and the rhythm of the windows, and there's some things that we did take that produce these elevations. It's kind of hard to describe that, but we did really want to honor the old building, and this is just a kind of a close-up shot. And we are going to be doing work on the Commons as well to kind of tie the buildings together. So.
Thanks so much, Matt.
Very quick.
I think that was fantastic. And with that, we would make ourselves, our whole team, available for any questions you may have of us.
I can go back to any of these.
Any questions from the commissioners? It's a good presentation. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm going to move on to Mr. Hemer as a testifier in support of the application.
Thank you, Vice Chair Argo, and
your name and
address for having me. I must say, looking at these drawings, the Milwaukie Historical Society.
Need your name and address.
Greg Hemer, 5822 Southeast Harrison Street, and the Milwaukie Museum address is 3737 Southeast Adams Street.
Thank you.
Open Saturdays 1 to 5 p.m. Looking at these drawings and seeing the plans that they have, the Milwaukie. Before you go yeah, you might want to grab the timer. The Milwaukie Historical Society is very impressed and very excited about what the plans are. And we know that working together with them, I don't know if they know how much we have in our collection of the old photos. We certainly have the original maroon from 1919 all the way up to the latest yearbook of 2017 in our collection as well. And We just want to recommend that you approve the conditions and findings that are in your packet. We believe that the city has made a very good case in points, and we know that Mr. Pender has been very excited about working with the museum, and I am sure that these people behind me will be happy to contact the museum when they are ready. Any questions? Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Hamer.
Thank you.
Okay. While these were the only cards we received, I am going to just field that if there's anyone who wishes to offer neutral testimony in the audience, or any member who wishes to offer testimony against the proposal. Okay, that's that. Do we have any questions regarding testimony to this point?
No.
Okay. Well, with that, I can close the public testimony component of this hearing. And that is public testimony portion of file number HR-2017-002, master file with ZA-2017-004, and CPA-2017-003. Are we ready for discussion? Do we understand what our options are this evening? Okay. Commissioner Jones, would you need a minute, or going to start? Okay.
Sure. First of all, thanks to the applicants for your presentation. I appreciate that it was concise but well organized and thought out. It seems like the schematic phase of a very successful project, and I guess we look forward to seeing how that comes to fruition. Regarding the specifics of this particular motion, I think it makes sense to allow the project to move forward. So, yeah.
Commissioner Grau?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. Presentation looks really good. So I don't have any questions. I think I would recommend approval as well.
Okay. Commissioner Travis?
I think that it's really helpful to have the Design and Landmark Commission weighing in on this, and I feel pretty comfortable in, all the meetings with the neighborhood and other engagement that's happened to date. So I feel comfortable with moving forward with the recommendations and the conditions as presented in our packet.
I agree. It seems non-controversial. There's a lot of consent that this is the appropriate thing to do, and so I would agree removal from the historic resource inventory is appropriate.
Cool. Well, I'd concur. I appreciate you presenting on your work, architects and application team. I think the process has been above board. You've been doing good community outreach. I don't have any issues with this, but to move forward and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve application HR 2017-002 as presented with the conditions for approval found in the attachments of the packet, as stated.
I'll second that motion.
Motion presented by Commissioner Travis, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. I believe it. Go ahead,
There might
Denny.
be a statement that you have to read,
For the handoff?
on this, but if you can't find it, this is a recommendation of the commission that goes to the council.
Yes.
And Brett, do you recall what the date is that we expect it to go to council?
The transition statement?
It's February 20th.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. This decision is a recommendation to the City Council, which will make the final decision after a public hearing. Please see planning staff for details concerning City Council hearing date and process. Thank you, everyone. I am now ceding my chair role to Chair Hemer.
You know, and I think that I have complained about this, but there is no spot in this book for that really says, applicant, can you stand up and speak?
In the type 4 portion, the other thing, you know what else I noted today is when you were asking for ex parte contact, there was no place in the type 4 where you asked, has anyone visited the site?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
I noticed that.
And so I think there's a couple of tweaks we need to make to the type 4, because the type 4 is essentially a plan amendment that's site specific.
Yeah.
So we need to revisit that. I actually sent, while Brett was talking, I sent planning staff a note about that. So I'll also make sure we've got that part covered.
Okay.
Yeah, it just needs to be bolded like the rest of it. It's kind of in here, but I think I've skipped it twice before when we've had a 4.
Yeah. And I've noticed the council, I think the council scripts aren't quite the same for this either. So probably the same, modeled after the same thing.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Brett. Work session items? None?
None.
Okay. Let's go on to Planning Department, other business and updates. Planning Commissioner officer elections.
All right.
Do you have anything to start us off with, Denny?
I don't have anything to offer you at this point, other than I think, Greg, as chair, you still get to preside over the elections.
All right. Well, if the commissioners would let me go first, I would like to do that. So, when I was originally chosen as chair, we were a very freshman group. And there was a natural progression for me to be chair because I was the most seasoned member, and I have been doing this script and reading before. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be the chair of this commission, but I have 3 things that I would like to say because I do not want to continue to be chair, unless if the commission feels that it's absolutely necessary. One, I think that this is one of the most intelligent groups that I have been around in a very long time, and that each and every one of you should have the opportunity to be able to read through this script and to be able to conduct the hearings at some point in time as you sit on this commission. I also hope that this is a calling that other people will see on other boards and other commissions here in the city to relinquish just so that the others have the opportunity. It can only make us a stronger unit as a whole if we all understand each other's roles and processes that goes through. Second thing I would like to say is that I, as a member of the Milwaukie Historical Society and a high participant in a lot of things, I end up with these conflict of interests that happen quite a bit. The Milwaukie Historical Society, because we have a wonderful reputation in this city, we have had a wide variety of developers that walk in through our door that ask for advice or specific information about their property. There have been 6 in the last 2 months, which it gets very cattywampus when the chair has to walk out and hand over to another person to take over the meeting. So I think that is the other reason. The third reason is well, I guess I don't really have a third reason. I think I covered it with my first one. So I would like to make a recommendation here's my third reason, I guess. I believe that attendance should be awarded and should be an extremely valuable part to this commission. I also believe that past behavior is reason to believe that the future is going to remain the same, but that can always be changed because we're matters of our own destiny, correct? And so for that reason, I think that there have been two people that have been consistent with coming here to the Planning Commission, being on time, and even being early. So I would like to make the suggestion that we elect Commissioner Travis as our new chair, and that we elect Commissioner Burns as our new vice chair. And hopefully in a year, Commissioner Travis will, if she is chosen, will see to do the same thing again to allow the opportunity for someone else to take the seat. That is my recommendation, and you guys are free to discuss.
I would suggest that the normal process would be you could suggest both at the same time if you want, but it's to make you open nominations, and you take the candidates that might be eligible for election or want to serve, and then vote on each of those candidates. So,
all right, so we'll start with chair first. Commissioner Travis, you have been nominated. Would you accept the nomination?
I would accept the nomination. However, I have a question about Vice Chair Argo and his interest in
I was going to get that. Is there any other
chair? But I do accept
any other nominations aboard?
No, I am not going to offer myself as chair nominee.
Okay.
Why don't we continue on if we want to do a procedure for chair, and then I might make a couple comments for vice, and then we can bring vice to the...
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that...
I appreciate your consideration.
Yeah.
Any other nominations?
I wholeheartedly support your nomination.
Likewise.
As do I.
Agreed.
Agreed. I vote for Commissioner Travis.
Is that good enough for an official vote?
Should have a motion.
I would like to entertain a motion for that.
Move to nominate Kim Travis as planning
Elect.
commissioner.
Designate or elect, yeah.
Oh, designate Kim Travis as planning commission chair.
Seconded.
So moved by Commissioner Graham, seconded by Vice Chair Argo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. Congratulations, Chair Travis.
Thank you. Very exciting.
Mr. Argo, would you like to lead off, or Vice Chair Argo, would you like to lead off the...
Yeah, just to quickly note, one, thank you for your service, Commissioner Hamer. I really appreciate it. Taking us through contentious, difficult decision-making cases, and really trying to reflect us as a board, as a body, in the purview that we have, but also carefully walking that line as a citizen who's active in organizations like the Historical Society. Thank you. Also, it's been a pleasure to serve as vice chair. I do want to roll off. I think I agree with Commissioner Hamer that the chair role is someone who should demonstrate a consistent ability of attendance. In my case, attendance is difficult because I have family child care challenges, but truly, this comes to me as we have excellent candidates for these roles, and I strongly support the other idea that we need, as a convening body, to rotate, get people into these positions. So I think that's great, and I would like to entertain a motion to nominate Commissioner Burns as vice chair.
Mr. Burns, do you accept that nomination? Or, I'm sorry, Commissioner Burns?
I need a motion, though. Oh, I can't offer
It's
the
okay.
floor.
We have to accept, we have to let him make sure that he says
That's
yes.
true.
I appreciate that my strength of attendance has elevated me to
Well,
this
that and your
position.
intelligence. Your intelligence.
It's a good fit.
So I do accept.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair? I would like to make a motion to, that Commissioner Burns become a vice chair of the Planning Commission.
I move to,
Second it.
here's the motion. I second the motion.
So moved by Commissioner Hemer and seconded by Vice Chair Argo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. There we go. Congratulations, you two.
Yes.
You will serve us well. We know that.
Thanks.
So,
Absolutely.
It's a great team.
very good. All right. Any other department or business updates?
Nope.
Planning Commission committee updates and discussion items. This is an opportunity for comment or discussion for items not on tonight's agenda. Is there any comments? Okay, so I have commercials. Here we go. I would like to remind everybody that they can vote on the new school naming out there in Happy Valley. That ends, I believe, either Friday or Saturday. Today is your last day to hand in your ballot for Measure 23. You have until 8 o'clock p.m. to get that in. I believe the Letting Library is accepting election ballots. Also, I would like to tell everybody that the Milwaukie Museum is having an opening on their newest exhibit starting Saturday, February 3rd, and will be running for a very long time. We've moved the Claire Kupenbender Research Library up into the front room, opened up the back room as a big new exhibit. It's exciting. We did the first painting there in probably 30 years. So if you haven't been by, February 3rd would be a wonderful time to come. We'll have our curator there that will be able to help explain and be treated. You could be treated like a VIP there to see all the artifacts and get it straight from the horse's mouth. The other thing I'd like to remind everybody is that the State of the City address is February 6th. That is from 5 to 6 right here in council chambers, I believe, as our mayor will be speaking about the past and the future of the city and his administration. And that same evening, the Milwaukie Historical Society will be presenting a proclamation to City Council to help celebrate African American History Month, which of course is the month of February. I encourage you all to pick somebody that you may not know of African American descent and read a little bit about them and educate yourself about these people that are part of our nation. Beyond that, that is all I have for commercial time, unless if you want me to make up my, I know it's not even 7:30. I could talk for years if you want me to. Since this is the last time on the mic.
Session.
Yeah, since it's the last time on the mic. All right, forecast for future meetings.
Next meeting, we have 3 items on there. I think the first 2 ought to be pretty easy. So I'm not so sure about the comp plan update, whether that'll be easy or not, but the should be. But David will be here to give an update.
Great.
You know, speaking of the comp plan update, so I went on to the city website and I clicked the little thing, you know, if you want information about, and it actually sent me to David's email, and that was it. It didn't just automatically enroll you like they normally do.
Okay.
So I sent him this note saying, could you add me on to the, and I didn't. And it was from the city website that I clicked on the thing. Normally you can just get like automatic updates or something.
I'll ask about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know if that was the intention or.
Well, I
not.
think it was, but I'm not 100% certain. You know, you have those normal procedures where you can sign up and get notices of city
Right.
events. This is, I think he set it up that way to ask people whether or not they wanted like the full packet or not. Because, I mean, the way we're going to deal with this is probably mostly be posting packets to the website. So you'd have to go to the website to find it. But I think that's why he did it that way. But
Yeah, and normally, you know, when you sign up for those updates, they just whenever they get entered in there, then you get an automatic email that
Right.
gives you the link to click to it.
Yeah. If I don't remember to ask him to give you an update, he'll be here next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably see him on the 31st. I'm planning on attending as an audience member. And the Letting Library temporary location is that going to be in the parking lot?
TriMet lot. It's the TriMet parking lot.
TriMet parking lot with
off
the-
of McLaughlin. They're off of Main, actually.
Right.
North Main.
Okay. I heard rumblings about that. I wasn't sure if we were lucky enough to be able to rent the space at the old Albertsons or not. But, okay. Do you want to say anything about ROW?
No. I mean, other than there's an application there to move tennis courts to ROW and make some other alterations. But I don't have any other information about that at this point.
All right. So that's it. I will entertain a motion to get on out of here.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
So moved by Vice Chair Argo and seconded by Commissioner Burns to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays, here we go.